Hello, this is Team Shutout with,
Cameron Delmonico.
and we have a waifu deck
Oh
profile.
yes, came out last week, built it day one. We were so excited to have this deck. We've been waiting months for it, and it's Dragon
Now
Maid,
let's get
so
into
everyone's favorite.
his version, maybe the best version
Maybe, who knows? It's a
of
lot.
the
It's
Dragon
similar to
Maids.
everyone else's, I feel like. But alrighty, so for monsters, you gotta play 3 kitchen waifu. She's my favorite, and I think she's everyone's favorite, but she's really good. On normal or special summon, you get to search your deck for a Dragon Maid monster and then discard a Dragon Maid monster. And then at the start of the battle phase, they tag back into your hand to special summon one that's 5 levels higher from your hand or graveyard. So they all do that, where at the start of the battle phase, the small ones come back to your hand, and you summon the big one from hand or graveyard. So that's 3 of the kitchen. And then we play 3 Parlor.
Yeah, $5.
Yes, she is for no reason. We picked these up when she was like $1, and now she's really expensive. She on normal or special summon Foolish Burials any Dragon Maid card, so that's pretty good for getting your big ones in the graveyard. You can get your occurable fusion spell in the graveyard. You can put some things in the graveyard for you to add back off of Welcome. So she's pretty good as another 3 of to get the engine going. And then 2 Nurse. I was playing 3 for the longest time, but then there were situations where I would open 2 and not be able to do anything with them. So we're playing 2 right now, where on normal special summon, she special summons 1 from your graveyard and then tags back into your hand to summon a level 7 from hand or graveyard. So she's really, really, really good extender to get like a ton of Dragon Maids on the field really, really fast. For the big ones, 3 Ernest. Ernest in hand discards as a quick effect to special summon 1 from your hand. So she's really good for special summoning during your opponent's turn. You can special summon like a Nurse during your opponent's turn, and then Nurse summons from graveyard, and then you can either add or dump a thing. So Ernest is really good. And then during the end of the battle phase, if she's on the field, they come back to your hand and summon 1 of 5 levels lower from your hand. So this tags into the level 2s from your hand. 2 Tinkek. She is basically honest, to where you quick effect discard her, targeting a Dragon Maid, and it gains 2,000 till the end of the turn. And then just like Ernest, bounce back to your hand to summon a level 3 from hand. And then 2 Lopar. Lopar in hand discards and targets a monster your opponent controls, and they can't use its activated effects that turn, and then bounces back into your hand to summon a level 3 from hand. If this was a quick effect, it'd be worth playing more of, I guess, but it's okay. It's okay, sadly. There are some other Dragon Maids that we don't play, like the Laundry and her. There's Laundry that you can play Laundry. She mills 3 on normal or special summon, which helps get some of your big ones in the graveyard or some of your support cards, but I don't play her, but I know some decks do. And then her big dragon form discards to put a monster back in your opponent's deck, so that's okay if you're going up against something like Orcust or something, but if it was a quick effect, it'd be worth playing her, but it's not really, so I don't. 1 Tempest. It's just a dragon that special summons itself, and if you have another wind, you can discard him and the wind to add any dragon. So it's pretty good because you can either like discard, like these are the only winds you play, so you can discard him and the big one and search one, or him and this one, and you can search Nurse. So Tempest is pretty good. I've only ever used his search effect like twice, but I still think he's worth running just for the possibility. Then last 3 Ash, because Ash is Ash. You almost play it and everything now. For the spells, there's 3 Dragon Maid Hospitality. This special summons 1 from your hand or graveyard, and then sends 1 from your deck to the graveyard with the same attribute but a different level. So this helps you summon the little ones from your hand or graveyard, triggering their effects and then dumping their counterparts you can tag out during the battle phase. So this card's really good. And then the 1 Welcome, this says that all Dragon Maids gain 100 attack for each Dragon Maid you control, and then if you control 2 or more Dragon Maids, you can target a Dragon Maid card in your graveyard and add it back to your hand. And it's not a Dragon Maid monster, it's a card, so you could add a Hospitality, you could add literally anything from your graveyard back to your hand. And then the 1 Changeover, this is the fusion card that summons the House Dragon. And if it's in your graveyard, you can target a Dragon Maid you control, bounce it to your hand, and then add it back to your hand. So it helps get the big ones in your hand or the small ones, and helps continuing your plays with the fusion summoning. For just random support, 3 World Legacy Guard Dragon, because it summons dragons from graveyard, and all of them are level 4, or the small ones are level 4 or lower, which then triggers their special summoning effect to special summon Foolish Burial or things like that, so that's pretty good. 3 Super Poly. because you can super poly into your own monster, obviously the house one, or it's also just something that's useful to stopping your opponent's plays. 3 called by the grave because you don't want your stuff to get stopped. That's basically it. 3 extravagance because all rogue decks play this card because you don't really care about your extra deck except for maybe 5 cards, so this is pretty good. And then 1 Monster Reborn and 1 Foolish Burial just to summon anything and dump anything, so this is pretty good. This was the 3rd Nurse, but we took it out so that way we could dump anything. And then we don't play a whole lot of traps. It's just 2 Dragon Maid downtime. Its effect is if you can target a Dragon Maid you control and then bounce it to your hand and either search a Dragon Maid card or return a spell or trap back to your opponent's hand. So this is pretty useful for getting rid of some of the back row that you can't necessarily deal with. And it also searches a card, so you can get literally anything. You could get your Changeover Welcome, you could get Hospitality, you could get any of the big monsters. So this is basically your Rhoda for the deck, which is pretty good. So that's 40 in the main. Extra deck is 3 of House. Her effect is if during the standby phase you can target 1 other Dragon Maid you control and special summon 1 from your hand or graveyard that's a level higher or lower, which is nice because all the little ones are either 3 or 2, so you can tag into each other from this. And then all the big ones are also either 7s or 8s. You can tag into the big ones really easily. And then if a Dragon Maid card monster you control is returned back to your hand, you get a pop a face-up monster. So it's kind of sad that you have to target a face-up monster and it can't just pop anything. But it's also not once a turn. So at the start of the battle phase, you can return 3 to summon 3 big ones and pop 3 monsters. And then at the end of the battle phase, return 3 more, summoning the small ones and popping more monsters. So she's pretty okay.
Yeah, if she popped more, that card would be real good.
Yeah, if she popped spells, traps, anything, this card would be nuts, which the deck's not even all that good to begin with, so I feel like they could have given that. And then super poly targets, 2 Starving Venom, 2 Dracosophilia, the 1 Chimera, and the 1 Swamp. We're thinking about making the Chimera a Duplex instead, because Duplex just needs any 2 Cyberse monsters, so it's a little bit more generic than Violet Chimera, but it does what it needs to do. Then for links to Hieratic Seal, this card is insane in this deck because you can tribute it to bounce a monster or a card that you just don't want to deal with back to your opponent's hand, and then it special summons any dragon from your deck. So you special summon a Nurse, and then Nurse summons 1 from the graveyard, and then if you summon Parl, you get a Foolish Burial, or summon Kitchen, you get a Search and all that stuff. So this card's really, really good.
Yeah, someday Cameron will give my copy back.
No, never. You're not using it. It's mine.
I'm going to use it at some point.
Nope. And then these are Reaper targets, just because we had extra space. Reaper, I think I Reapered a Shizuku once during the tournament, and it was good, but I didn't play Orcus, I didn't play this, I didn't play this, so
just in case.
Yeah, it could be literally anything.
Yeah, extra deck doesn't matter.
No.
Reapers.
Yeah, you play Extravagance, so yeah,
A
it
lot of
doesn't
people
matter.
won't see Reaper coming anyways.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. So then the Reaper with the targets that I just mentioned to get rid of cards that might be annoying. 3 Nibiru, because Nibiru's Nibiru. And the tokens you can get rid of pretty easily by either using Tinkek to make your monster really big or using House Key to just pop it, so you don't really have an issue with the tokens. DD Crow for getting rid of Orcus shenanigans or literally Orcus stuff. This is pretty good. Outside of downtime, we don't have a way to deal with back row, so 3 Twin Twisters, because discarding your big monsters is fine, because you can just special summon them back from the graveyard. You can also Nurse to special summon it back. You have so many ways of getting the monsters back you discard of this. That Twin Twisters is pretty free. And then Evenly Matched, just to wipe the board even more if you don't draw into one of your other millions of ways to get rid of the board.
Well, Cameron almost got top 8 at
Almost.
Yugioh.
We technically did. My opponent gave me the win because they were leaving, but it wasn't recorded correctly, so technically we were 3-0-1, I think, with 1 draw and 3 wins, so technically we were, but we didn't. It was recorded incorrectly, so that kind of sucks.
Yeah, and the deck is getting new support in the special edition too.
That's very exciting. They're getting a quick play that bounces 1, and I think special summons 1 from hand, and that turn the monster that you special summon can't be destroyed by battle similar card effects. So it can kind of help you wall and also trigger house by bouncing a thing and triggering your nurse or whatever you special summon. So send off is pretty good.
So another deck we got do recordings of updates and better versions of it.
Because we're gonna keep
Yep.
getting more and more support.
Yep.
If you want to, you can play Romulus and Dragon Ravine. That's something that
Super
I featured. Yeah, Super Rejuvenation if you don't have the extravagances. But the only thing with Super Rejuve is that only the big ones discard themselves. So you're not really gonna be drawing a whole lot. So that's why we don't play Super Rejuve.
Well, thank you for watching, like, subscribe, and see you next time. Bye for now.